This is Elisa Stern.
And this is Scott Ampleford from Dr. Puppet. And you're listening to MarkWHO42.
Welcome to MarkWHO42 here on the internet. Wow, that's all we can say now. We are a podcast again. Welcome back. My name is Mark Baumgarten. With me is my co-host,
Juan Sanmiguel, this time in Miami, visiting the family for Easter.
Wow, we're both in South Florida. Well, anyway, today, special episode. We came up with this idea yesterday because yesterday, the unimaginable happened. 2 episodes of the Dalek Master Plan were put on YouTube and the BBC iPlayer. They were found recently, and we're going to talk all about that right after this.
Don't go away. Don't go away. We'll be back with more MarkWHO42 after this.
Hello, geeks and geekettes. I'm Steve Megatron, and if you're looking for a podcast that covers a vast array of geeky topics, then check out Altered Geek. Altered Geek covers superheroes, Star Trek, pop culture, comics, film, television, animation, gaming, tech, and more. So check out Altered Geek and get altered, get geeky with the Altered Geeks every Friday on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, SoundCloud, Blog Talk Radio, and the Geekcast Radio Network.
Get ready for the ultimate geek experience right here in the Sunshine State. Florida Geek Scene presents a full calendar of events and conventions. From anime to horror, we've got it all. Meet your favorite stars, find rare collectibles, and immerse yourself in your passions. Experience the thrill of cosplay and witness amazing live performances. Stay up to date with the latest news and reviews all across Florida. Florida Geek Scene, where pop culture happens. Visit us online for more. Don't miss out on the fun. Join us at Florida Geek Scene, FloridaGeekScene.com.
You are listening to MarkWHO42's Universe.
And we're back with more of MarkWHO42. I'm your host, Mark Baumgarten. With me is Juan Sanmiguel. And today we're talking the Dalek Master Plan. Wow. Juan, you watched them. What did you think of the episodes 1 and 3, The Nightmare Begins and Devil's Planet?
Well, I think we're gonna go. I'm fairly enjoyed them. I mean, I've always liked the Daleks. There's some fans that said, oh, the Daleks are overblown, overused. Let's do some things original. But I think if you use them right and you put a good story and you put a good director on them, you'll have fabulousness. And I think, and I picked that term, I guess, directly, and we'll talk about later on. But it was always a solid story, and it was good action adventure, and I guess we'll talk about that later. But I had fun with this. I had fun. I just wish they'd released the Day of Armageddon because I don't have that accessible to me.
Well, on the iPlayer. It's on the iPlayer, if I'm correct, but maybe not on YouTube.
Not on YouTube. YouTube is putting out, it seems like Doctor Who, and I assume the BBC is putting out everything that they can on YouTube. Even singletons like The Abominable Snowman Part 2 is recently put up, as well as the animation. They're putting up all the animation.
Okay. Well, I watched Day of Armageddon to get the full quarter story of the episode. I had actually seen these before. I've seen the reconstructions. Of course, you probably have too, Juan.
I don't watch many reconstructions, and actually, I don't know if we're getting ahead of ourselves, but the thing is, reconstructions on the Dalek Master Plan are really hard because, unfortunately, John Wiles, who became the producer during the Mythmakers, which is the episode previous, decided we're not doing telesnaps anymore. He shut down telesnaps. So his entire era, and unfortunately his era, is riddled with missing episodes. I mean, the Massacre is completely gone. So is the Mythmakers. And we have no I don't think the Mythmakers have telesnaps. I know Dalek Master Plan and the Massacre don't have telesnaps.
They're not telesnaps, but people have reconstructed them. There are videos that you can watch it. And yeah, they're probably not perfect. And I'm saying this in all honesty, and this may have to go nowhere. This may have to be edited out. I'm just letting you know. I have seen Ian Levine's AI versions of these 2 episodes. They are so close to what we got. He and the team did such a good job. When I was watching episodes 1 and 3 yesterday, and then just a few minutes ago, I rewatched the AI. They were both great. Yeah, the faces weren't perfect because it's I guess deep fake, but they're a really good job. And so I have had the opportunity before to technically watch these episodes.
The thing with reconstructions, if we're going to go there, and we'll go there real quick.
Okay.
You don't get everything. I follow, and I'll be referring to some of them, the Missing Episodes podcast, and they also do. I forget if it was them or the Dalek Army guys podcast, and they talk about how trying to use a camera script. And the thing is, not everything is in the camera script. Like that scene in The Seeds of Death where Patrick Troughton runs in a corridor and there's 2 mirrors like a barber shop and you see all those reflections. That wasn't in the camera script. So there's certain things you're not going to get out of the camera script and you're going to miss. And there was somebody out. Oh, it might have been Dalek Army. They did put out, there's 2 videos on YouTube for each episode about the mysteries that will be solved when these episodes got released. It was when they made the announcement, and you should check those out. Essentially, the mysteries solved.
I'm not saying that the reconstructions are perfect, but they are a way to get a glance at these other than reading the book and listening to the audios. Yeah, they're not perfect. They can't have every scene. They don't, without telesnaps, they don't have every image.
Now, at the same time, you do know, and I've begged you to maybe one day we'll explore this. I do love the animations.
Okay.
I'm a big supporter.
I want to do reviews of the animations. Yes, we will start doing those. Sound good?
Yeah, sounds good.
Let's go. The people who found this. Let's talk about Film is Fabulous.
All right, and this is my understanding of Film is Fabulous, and I'm citing interviews done on Doctor Who, The Missing Podcast, and Radio Free Skaro. I think those are my 2 main sources. Now, apparently, I think it's a bigger thing in Britain than in the United States, that there are people, and unfortunately they are of an older generation, who love to collect film. They like film, they like to project it. And as was mentioned, unfortunately, these people are getting on in years, and they're afraid of losing these collections would just be thrown away or destroyed, or their families wouldn't know what to do with them. So there was, I forget what the event was. I don't know if the event was called Film is Fabulous or it was called something else, but they had a gathering, essentially a convention of filmmakers to discuss how to deal with their estates, for lack of a better word, of their collections. And so they organized Film is Fabulous, which is a public charity. You can donate to it. Go on Google, figure out where they are. This is not a treasure hunt. The idea is for people to turn in to work with the collectors, to work with the film collectors, and try to properly catalog everything and make sure everything. Finding missing episodes of anything is secondary. They just want everything cataloged. So that's their purpose. And the thing is, I just heard a recent interview with one of them, and the thing is, they are not working on a timeline. They are not working on anniversaries. They are doing the job. They are doing a process of cataloging these films. And when the time is right, they will announce discoveries of this magnitude. Yeah. And one of the things that this might reassure people that nothing bad will happen to them if they do have stuff.
And I was going to mention that because technically it's quote unquote illegal because they were stolen. They're not, they were taken from the TV studios, that the stations that had it. So technically, and that's why they aren't coming back so quickly, is they are kind of iffy on the legal side.
Well, here's another thing. I mean, not only, well, I guess that, but a lot of them were thrown away.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of these things had to be junked because of, I think it was mainly the actors union contract that they needed to sell these for a limited amount of time. All about the legality. I mean, they threw a lot of stuff away. I mean, there was one guy in Australia who I think found an episode of the Crusade Part 1, I think. And the thing is, I think it threw away. He found it in a skip somewhere, and he didn't even know what he had. A lot of these collectors are not Doctor Who fans, so they don't know what they have, and they don't know what they're. Now, they did bring up, one of the guys at Film is Fabulous brought up with Radio Free Skaro that one of the reasons these guys were BBC technicians and all they have to live on is their BBC pension, and they were afraid that their BBC pension might be taken away or fined or whatever. and this is all that they got. So that's why they're trying. But the thing is, the release of these episodes shows the organization, and nobody got hurt. So maybe this will encourage future releases, but it's going to be at our own timetable. We should, if you want to do anything, just throw in a few bucks to Film is Fabulous to help them out. Take care, to take care of these collections.
Yeah. They found a lot of stuff. I mean, not even, there were more Doctor Who episodes, but they were already in the catalog. So, but
Yeah.
they found other things other than these 2 episodes.
And
amazing. Did they find, I think they found some Dad's Army and some other comedies and things. I mean, they found a lot of stuff.
I don't know what other stuff they have found. I mean, I know Dad's Army was a popular TV show which had lost a lot of episodes. So of that I'm not sure of.
They found them over the years. I don't know if they found them this time, but they found a lot of things. And that's
Film
great.
is
So
Fabulous,
I think Film is Fabulous is a great organization.
right, but Film is Fabulous as exists right now is only a recent thing. I think they had their big convention a year, maybe 2 years at the outside, and they organized themselves as a charity recently. So the process has only been going on not too long a span of time. So,
yeah. And
now there is I wish I could remember the source of this, but supposedly there's somebody in the missing episodes fandom who claims that he does know that there are 2 missing episodes that are in the hands of private collectors that he knows of.
Okay.
And these weren't it. So
so there might be more.
There might be. And also I believe that when they originally found the Web of Fear, they did have, I believe it was episode 3 was found, except somewhere it got taken or lost. And so there is hope for a few more episodes being out there. But I think one thing that they made it clear, and actually the fans have been good about this, let Film is Fabulous do their job at their own pace,
Right.
Don't make harassing posts or emails and stuff like that. Let them do their thing.
Yeah. I like I said, they're a great organization. All right, let's talk about the episodes themselves. Nightmare Begins. What did you think of it? Well, I mean, what do you think of the story? Because again, you haven't seen this before.
Well, I read,
well, you read it, yes. Yeah.
I never read the novelization. I know what the general plot of the story is.
John Peel will be very angry at you. No, but seriously, go for it.
I've read John Peel's Legacy of the Daleks and War of the Daleks, which are great. And he does a very good job of reading Daleks. You should check out his books, even the ones that are out of print. Go on eBay or find them. But anyway, it's a big plot. I mean, I've learned about a little bit about the origin of the story. I mean, here's a little fact. Some high up in the BBC, and this is according to the missing episodes, asked his mother-in-law, who I believe he thought was a typical BBC viewer, what does she think of when she thinks of Doctor Who? And she said Daleks. And the missing episodes kind of pointed out that between November 1964 and sometime in the spring of 1966, you I believe had 47 episodes which were about Daleks. So there was a 1 in 2 chance out of 50 something episodes. Yeah.
Can I say something? The Daleks at the time were technically as big as the Beatles. The Daleks and Dalekmania and Beatlemania were both the 2 big things in that time frame. Daleks were big, really big. So I get why they decided to write this story and get it, because they needed more Daleks. You're right.
Well, I think they implied that this cemented, I mean, the Chase, and I guess even though the Chase a lot of people now think is kind of inferior, and the Dalek Master Plan, which is the better story. But the Dalek Master Plan, just real quick, was originally going to be a 6-part story, kind of a James Bondish type story. But I think because of the popularity of the Daleks, I said, well, let's make 6 more episodes, get Dennis Spooner to help Terry Nation put out these more episodes, because after part 6, you kind of go into a mini chase.
Yeah.
Of the and one episode which, if it ever does show up, it'll be a surprise, because it was the Feast of Stephen.
Yes, which is the actual Doctor Who, the first Doctor Who Christmas special, because it was on Christmas.
But the thing is, it has really nothing to do with the Dalek Master Plan plot, because they thought all the adults would be drunk for Christmas. only the younger fans would be watching, so they had to put something on the air. And so you have this comedy, which is a parody of the popular cop show Z Cars, as they
And the
call it.
Keystone Cops, both a
And
mixture
then
of.
they go old school Hollywood for the second
Yeah.
half of the story. And so that's and because of the Christmas nature of that story, I don't think they ever considered putting it up. Now, the Dalek Master Plan overall did not get a lot. I don't think got any foreign, or I should say, overseas distribution. Australia thought it was too violent. They thought they'd have to make too many cuts. And going back to the story itself, it is a very action intense story. And you have Doctor Who's best director, who's working on his third story, Douglas Camfield.
Yeah, Dougie. Yeah.
And he's filming the Daleks great. I mean, there's some really great tracking shots of the Daleks moving around. I mean, I think he somehow, I don't know how tall the BBC cameras were at the time, but somehow he got them at the level of the Daleks. And Daleks aren't that big. I think even modern Daleks are not that big. So I think it was kind of interesting on how he filmed it. We're tracing them. A very good jungle set. I don't think I mean, it's not Planet of Evil, which I recently saw a few months ago, but very impressive. You get Nicholas Courtney in his first time on Doctor Who, playing Brent Vion, who's this very intense kind of guy. And we get to see more of Adrian Hill as Katarina, who unfortunately had a very short stay on the show. So, no, I was
technically the first companion killed off. Technically. I don't know if she's really, I mean, was she really a companion? She started in the story before. She traveled in the TARDIS. So I think by rules of how it worked that she did become a companion. Technically. So is Sarah Kingdom. Technically.
I'm not as obsessed with the rules of companion. I mean, I it doesn't bother me as much. I mean, I think this was all brought up because people wanted to know whether Adam from the first modern season was considered a companion or not. Or for that matter, Jack was a companion too, but it doesn't bother me. And the thing, unfortunately, the writers felt that Katarina would be too hard to write for because they'd have to have a long explanations, since she was, she was from BC, so I guess
ancient Greece. I guess it was ancient Greece or in Rome because it's from Troy, so that would be
well, no, it's from the Myth Makers. I forget if she was Greek or Trojan, but it is from that. She is from the Myth Maker, so she is from the Trojan War. And that's why I guess when they decided to, but then again, a few years ago, they would go in with, Jamie and Victoria. But then again, they're more advanced. Jamie's from this 18th century and Victoria's from the 19th century. And maybe they just didn't think they'd have to explain as much to them as they felt that Katarina. But it was also great to see her. I mean, she seems to have a good relationship with the Doctor. And she seems to be.
Well, I think she thinks the Doctor is like a god. If I'm correct,
that's the whole thing. She believes the Doctor will take her to the palace of perfection.
Yeah, the afterlife. Yeah.
And the thing is, for a long time, they didn't know who the companion was going to be. I think it was originally written for Vicky, the script, and then they told him no. Vicky is out, and Katarina's in, and then they didn't. And at some point, they put in Sarah Kingdom. I don't know why. I'm not sure why. Maybe they couldn't get Jean Marsh. I don't know why they couldn't. Sarah Kingdom didn't continue.
You know what's interesting? It's interesting. If Vicky, because you said they wrote it for Vicky originally, if Vicky was in it, would they have killed Vicky off? That would have been interesting.
I don't think they would have killed her off. I think the thing is, since they were going to write her off, and this is going to be a dramatic story. I mean, actually, if you've seen the story, if you've seen the other episodes, particularly when they're on Earth, some people have pointed out that this is quasi Blake 7, because you've got, double dealing. You've got, I mean, desperate. I'm kind of surprised they didn't call the planet they were going to dump Blake on after seeing this Desperus instead of Cygnus Alpha.
Yeah.
Because we have a whole chemo planet. You don't need guards, you just dump everybody off the planet. One of the other things is supposedly in the original script, I think they were considering, and I think this was toned down by Donald Tosh, who is the script editor. I think originally Brett and Sarah were supposed to be lovers, but then I guess they decided to tone that down and just make them
brother and sister. Brother and sister, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, no, it's just Yeah, that was the thing in Half Brother. I mean, I think the story I think they toned it down a little bit. I mean, I think it was going to be. I mean, Terry Nation was a very good action adventure writer. I mean, Terrence Dicks, even when he was critical of his script, says he's a page turner. You want to know what's going on. I mean, it's always action and uh, something's always going on. I mean, he knows how to write the action and uh, put put people in the middle of it and have real tense moments. In the individual episodes, I mean, one thing that people wanted to see what the screamers look like, and they never showed the screamers, which they only
No,
described,
not
they only
really.
showed people react to. But then again, there was that cool scene when the Doctor's looking outside of the spaceship, and you see this planet, you see this landscape, and then you see these torches, and that was an interesting effect for that time.
Yeah.
Seeing the prisoners, the Doctor realizes the prisoners are going to come and try to probably take over the ship or try to board the ship.
There was another special effect at the beginning of episode 3 that I liked. When Mavic Chan's ship is taking off with the Brett and the Doctor and everyone, the special effect of it launching with this sparkling, you had never seen it before. No one would have seen it before because it would not, like you said, no telesnaps. That was an effect that was really, really cool. And no, you've never seen it anywhere before, except if you watch the original episodes when it was on.
Unfortunately, that looked like the same effect they used the TARDIS in Flight in the Hartnell era. And
I wouldn't say that, but
I
okay.
thought if they were going to do something, why didn't they just reverse the landing of the spar that they had in episode 1, and maybe crank it up faster?
That could have worked. That would have worked.
There is one, and actually, you reminded me of something because the spars are owned by Mavic Chen, and the one negative thing about the episode, and that's why you're going to see this notice of discriminatory. There's a warning of discriminatory. I forget what it's called. Discriminatory.
Yeah, I saw there was a warning. It was a warning because of his makeup.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I mean, Doctor Who would actually continue doing this into 1977 with John Bennett playing Lee Sen Chang in the Talons of Weng Chiang. And yeah, that was. But the sad thing is, and I don't know why.
If you think about it, Mavic Chen was basically being the merciless.
Yeah.
If you the kind of makeup kind of thing, I think that's where they were going with it. And regardless of how he was made up, I give kudos to Kevin Stoney.
Well, no, Kevin Stoney's a great actor. But the thing is, I give them compliments that they think that the Guardian of the Solar System would be an Asian. But I got to think there's got to be some actors in Britain of Asian descent who could have done a great job.
Back then they really didn't have anyone they were using. There, of course, were, but they were not being used, and it's a shame. But again, you have to go with that's the time it is. That's what they did. You can't go back and change it, so it's there. It's there, and they can apologize for it, but that's really all you can do.
Although you think things about you can change. The one thing, I don't know if they did this. I know the Day of the Daleks remastered is on, but I don't know if you realize this, but they never showed a Dalek beam coming out of the gun until Genesis of the Daleks. So that would be one thing I would go back. I don't know if maybe one day they might release it. I mean, maybe if they do a season 3 Blu-ray, maybe they'll do remastered effects and maybe do Dalek beams. I don't know if they did it for Day of the Daleks, which is on YouTube now remastered, because they remastered it. They made the Dalek voices. I wish I could re-listen to it. Some people always said that the Dalek voices were off in Day of the Daleks, and I made the joke, well, maybe they come from Southern Skaro, or that's why they have that accent, and they sent them over to invade Earth the second time to see if they would have a better shot at it. But there were some things I wouldn't mind remastering, and I hate to say it, the Spar in space, that would be one thing I'd remaster.
Okay. The Terranium, is that a MacGuffin of big quality or not?
Oh, no, it is a MacGuffin. I mean, it's quite clearly a MacGuffin. I mean, the thing is, I knew if you knew about the Dalek master plan and modern Doctor Who, the idea of the reality bomb doesn't bother you. It's like it is the descendant of the Time Destructor. Now, they never fully explain what the Time Destructor does, but in the research that they did on the missing episodes, they said that the Time Destructor is essentially the golden age idea from Invasion of Dinosaurs, that you go to your target planet and completely reverse time. So there's no take the planet to a primitive state, so you don't wipe out your opposition. Although it doesn't really make sense because then your power is out, and what are you going to do? You can only use it once apparently if you really think about it logically. But I guess Terry Nation was just thinking about the Daleks trying to develop an ultimate weapon,
Hmm.
and that's, I mean, again, we're going for, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I mean, this is 1966, so we're at Thunderball. I don't think
Wait. Are we in 1966 or 1965? I thought it was this November of 1965.
it starts in 1965, but
Right,
remember,
right.
but Thunderball I think is still out. So and they're
Yeah,
going for,
you're right. Yeah.
but I don't think we're going for world ending bomb. We don't have like an ultimate weapon, or like we're not going for world destruction like Hugo Drax and Stromberg from Spy Who Loves Me and Moonraker, respectively. We're still dealing with
Yeah.
Spectre in those days. Even in You Only Live Twice, which I think is 67. I mean, they're trying to start a nuclear war, I guess. So that is kind of world ending.
Hmm.
But it's just the Daleks have an ultimate. You want to give the Daleks an ultimate weapon
Hmm.
to scare off. And I guess Time Destructor kind of sounds kind of cool. Reality Bomb sounds kind of cool too.
Yeah.
So I did the Reality Bomb. I thought people were bothered by the Reality Bomb, but I'm going. It's the Time Destructor.
Yeah, I agree.
So
But who else was in this? We talked about Katarina. We talked about Adrian Hill. Do we talk about Stephen Peter Purvis at all? I don't think we mentioned
yeah,
him yet. I mean, he's in it. I mean, he's always in it. Peter Purvis is a great companion as Stephen Taylor. But in this one, at least for the first episode, he was kind of out of action
well, even when he's sick because unfortunately he got wounded. Um, he
in
got
the
wounded
Mythmakers.
during
Yeah.
the Mythmakers. But he does knock out, Brent Byron when he realizes that Brent is trying to steal the TARDIS to
Yeah.
get back to Earth, and he's able to knock him out and
He is the action hero of Doctor Who back then.
yeah, I mean, he was a great replacement for William Russell,
Hmm.
different kind of guy. Although sometimes I think they forget that he's from the future. I think in this episode, I mean, well, the thing is, I think we're in his future, but
Right.
it's kind of ambiguous of what point in the future Steven originally came from, because I think he was a space pilot captured by the mechanoids
Yes.
in the chase. But
And
there's
I know that we're in year 4000 during the Dalek
yeah.
Master Plan. I think it was in the 3600s that Stephen, I can look that up, but keep going.
Well, originally, what was funny was in the original draft. I mean, Terry wanted to set it in the year 1,000,000, and I think, well, that's we can't afford the year 1,000,000 on a Doctor Who budget. So I think let's scale it back. There is a kind of funny thing. Unfortunately, this episode, the bad thing about this episode, it shows that unfortunately Terry Nation and Donald Tosh and John Wiles didn't know much about astronomy, because I don't think they really knew what a galaxy was.
Hmm.
Um, here's the thing. The Missing Episodes podcast did some research, and they figured out how they could some headcanon to make it work, because apparently surrounding the Milky Way are a bunch of dwarf galaxies, small
Right.
galaxies which aren't as far as Andromeda, but they're not as big as Andromeda. So that's where all of our representatives now. I forget. You saw the Day of Armageddon. Do we get to see another look at the Dalek allies, the representatives that we saw
Yes.
on the mission
Yes,
to
you
the
do.
unknown?
Yes, you do. Oh, and by the way, just to add this, Stephen Taylor was a 27th century human space pilot. So 27th century. So
Okay.
2600s.
In part three, you have that interesting part where he and Brett are trying to fix the spar to try to get off of Desperus. And the doctor's mocking how old this technology is, and they yank his chain, saying the TARDIS never goes exactly where they want it to
Right.
go.
Oh, I love I love when Brett calls, it goes, yeah, let Grandpa over there do. The Grandpa line was funny.
Well, it's funny you bring that up, because I think if I recall correctly, on the audio commentary for the Three Doctors, Nick Courtney was a little bit disappointed that William Hartnell was not going to be physically in it, because I think he was looking forward to working with him again. That's if I remember the
Yeah.
commentary right. because they got a lot of scenes together, and I think he had a fun time working with him. So that was a.
Would you recommend that everyone run out or rush to go to YouTube or to BBC iPlayer and watch these 2 episodes?
Oh yes, I mean, look, I mean, right now I'm as soon as we wrap up this podcast, if I'm going to go on the Galactic Journey and watch the Claws of Axos, because yesterday, as the time of the day of this recording, was the 55th anniversary of Claws of Axos coming out. So I encourage anybody to look at stuff on YouTube. The biggest surprise to me was I didn't know what the rights were, so I was surprised it was going to be on YouTube. That was a big, nice surprise on Friday that it was there. So yeah, no, check it out. I would encourage. I mean, it's a great cracker of a story. I mean, I wish Douglas Canfield had done. I don't know why. I wish, although I loved Evil of the Daleks and what I've seen of it, I wish he would have done more Dalek stories. I think he only did the one. Because I mean, I always say he's the best director of classic era Doctor Who. Here's a tidbit about Douglas Canfield. He did not get along with Dudley Simpson. There was something about the music at the Crusade that didn't grab him. So that's why Terror of the Zygons and Seeds of Doom sound audibly different, because Dudley didn't do the music for that. So that's an interesting thing. He always gets music from somewhere else.
I want to let everyone know, go see The Nightmare Begins and Devil's Planet. And if you have the opportunity, BBC iPlayer or somewhere, see Day of Armageddon that takes place between it, so that you can say you've watched the entire first quarter of the Dalek Master Plan. Juan, I got something to tell everyone out there. Next weekend, April 11th, 2026, in Delray Beach at the Dr. Andre Fladell Civic Center, formerly the South County Civic Center, PalmCon South will be occurring, and MarkWHO42 is being represented there. I am going to be running a Doctor Who trivia contest and with prizes, and I am selling Doctor Who books, merchandise, and some 77 Publishing comics. Some of the guests that'll be there, I don't know if you know any of these. Jeremy Hobbs, who is a comic book artist and animator, What If, Trash, and Joshua Black. We've got Vinny Tardimella, who's I remember seeing from a lot of conventions back in the day, comic book artists, and a lot of comic artists, a lot of fan people coming to it, and it's gonna be real fun. It's from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Saturday, April 11th, and my trivia contest is at 4. For more information, go to palmcon.net. I wish you were coming. That would be fun.
No, unfortunately, I got a commitment. Have fun.
So everyone, thank you for listening to MarkWHO42. I'm Mark Baumgarten. That was Juan Sanmiguel. We hope you go out, love the episode. Hope you go out and watch those 2 Dalek Master Plan episodes that just got released yesterday on Good Friday. And also, I'll see you all at PalmCon next weekend. Anything finally you want to say, Juan?
Just if you're interested, check out Film is Fabulous and give them a nice contribution.
All right. Bye, everyone. See you next time. Oh, by the way, this was the first episode of season 15. We just had our 14th anniversary the other day on April Fool's Day. So happy anniversary, Juan.
Happy anniversary.
Bye, everyone. You've been listening to MarkWHO42. Your hosts, Mark Baumgarten, Vicky Jakubowski, and Juan Sanmiguel. If you'd like to leave a comment for us, please email us at markwho42.42@gmail.com. MarkWHO42's universe is produced and directed by Mark Baumgarten. Copyright 2026.